But let me make one or two remarks about some of those challenges. When we were in office, Boko Haram erupted first of all in Yobe, not in Borno State. And as I said elsewhere, the president invited me. He said, "Vic, what do we do?" I said, "Mr. President, let's invite the service chiefs, give them a deadline. They either put it down or they resign and go." And we called them, and the president addressed them in a military manner. And believe me, within few weeks or months, they put it down.
We went to Bank of the North, Bank of Industry, and get the 2 billion, and over 2 years, they cannot even put their own counterpart funding. We can solve it. The more you put people out of poverty, the more you solve insecurity. I've been to prisons, I've been to places to see what is happening. We need to change it. It is very easy. We need to invest in education. We can't talk about free universal education when people are not going to school and children are not in school. I have taken time to go to the north, sometimes they are wondering children, they are the most brilliant people God created. Because I could see children in 9 years and 10 years memorizing Quran. If they can't go to school, we'll take school to them. Where they are learning Quran, they can learn English, they can learn mathematics, they can learn it. It's very easy. And I can tell everybody this, you can go and verify this in this country. I was in the financial industry. When you look for cash, you go to Kano. When you look for cash, they never play. Kano was #1 place for cash. Because then we had all the factories in Bombay, in Sharadangwa, in Sharan. Go to Kano today, those industries are not there. Go to Kaduna, there's no industry. There's no industry again in Kaduna. We used to put Kaduna Trade Fair 2 years for it to get the space. Today nobody goes there. We used to go to Medugri for cash. Today nobody goes there. That is the poverty. And when you have poverty, you have criminality that you cannot control. Because when people don't know where the next thing will come from, you can never control your action.
We resolve to contribute in the dialogue on either to register a new political party to drive as the vehicle to drive the politics, or fuse into the existing political party, whichever is agreed. The National Coalition Group set up 2 committees, among others, 2 committees, one to consider the desirability or feasibility of registering a new political party, and 2, to consider fusing into an existing political party. Both committees submitted their reports. The committee for fusing into another political party is headed by Governor Lemoke, and then the committee for registering a new political party was chaired by Governor Rotimi Amechi. I was the secretary of that subcommittee for the registering of the new political parties. We made our submissions, and then former Governor Nasiru Rufai brought out a suggestion that, a complaint that SDP is also interested to be considered for that fusing. So for that, the committee set up 30th of this month to decide either to go with ADC or form a new SDP or form a new political party. In our dialogue towards the coalition, our first option is for a new political party, and fusing into an existing party becomes a primary alternative for us.
Nigerians are no longer the docile people that they used to be. Tinubu and his APC think that because they have the central bank, they have our common money, our common heritage, our common resource in their pocket, and they want to use our own money to fight us, they will meet us. Forget about their dismissing political parties, their dismissing opposition. We are here waiting for them. When the time comes, they will know who is Northerner. They will know who are Nigerian citizens.
PDP have come out with that statement, quote and unquote, whether it's from them directly or not, to say that he's being offered the vice presidential role. So can you touch on this? Do you think it's high time Mr. Obi makes clear to Nigerians and his staunch followers where he stands ahead of 2027? And while he's also continuing to talk against the negative ills in the society?
We might have time to talk about this when they offer him presidency. We can't be discussing vice president. We have a president whom we know has all it takes to be president. One, Atiku is from the north. We have a southern presidency, gentlemen. Are you now saying that we are going to give the presidency back to the north? I don't understand your question. These questions should not even come up. So if Atiku is even dreaming of that, means he's going to be a saboteur, because he's aware of the Nigerian unwritten agreement of north and southern presidency.
Today, we are diving into a significant question that's been making waves in Nigerian politics. And the question says, will Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi form a coalition for the 2027 presidential elections? Let's explore the developments and what they could mean for the future of Nigeria. Let's look into the background of their political movements. Let's recall that in 2023 general elections, Atiku Abubakar, representing the People's Democratic Party, that is the PDP, and Mr. Peter Obi under the Labour Party, both, of course, vied for the presidency. Then their separate bids arguably splitted the opposition votes, contributing to the emergence of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So in recent development, there has been buzz about a potential alliance between these two political heavyweights. Reports emerged that Atiku offered Obi the vice presidential slot in a proposed coalition, with Atiku committing to a single-term presidency. This proposal aimed to unify their strengths and to present a formidable challenge to the ruling party in 2027. But then there has been challenges and disputes. The path to this alliance hasn't been smooth. Disagreements have surfaced, particularly concerning the representation and leadership roles within the proposed coalition. Notably, a recent meeting involving Atiku, Obi, and other key figures was disrupted due to disputes over delegate representation from Jigawa State. So this has generated a lot of reactions. Then, what is the current stance of Mr. Peter Obi? Peter Obi has been non-committal about accepting the vice presidential role. In recent statements, he emphasized his focus on combating bad governance, hunger, and poverty rather than commenting directly on the coalition talks.
I'm in coalition against hunger, in coalition against poverty, in coalition against good health. Politics for me is not about position. It is about doing the right thing.
This suggests that while discussions are ongoing, a definitive agreement hasn't been reached. What is the stance of the obedience? What are their response? Because of course, Peter Obi has always maintained that they are the pioneers of the movement. They are the pioneers of his decisions. So what are the response of the obedience? The obedience, representing Peter Obi's supporters, refuted claims of a pact between Obi and Atiku emphasizing that discussions are ongoing and no formal agreement has been reached. So to me, looking out for the after weeks of political speculations, it looks like the proposed Atiku Obi coalition may not become a reality after all. Whether or not the Atiku Obi coalition becomes a reality, one thing is clear: Nigerians are watching closely and demanding unity, vision, and real leadership ahead of 2027 election. This election won't just be about parties. It will be about who truly connects with the people's hope. What is the potential impact of the coalition? If Atiku and Obi were to unite, their combined efforts, support could significantly alter the political landscape. In 2023, their separate campaigns garnered substantial votes, and a unified front might consolidate the opposition, posing a stronger challenge to the incumbent administration of Ahmed Tinubu. We will continue to monitor these developments as it continues. So, what are your thoughts on these potential alliances? Do you believe Atiku and Obi should join forces for the 2027 general elections? Share your opinions in the comments below. That is a wrap for today. I report, you cope. Our leaders are like Wi-Fi in a hotel, overpriced and barely working. See you in the next episode.